Before Jesus carried the cross, he chose a garden, not a temple, not a synagogue, not a mountaintop filled with glory. A quiet patch of earth, Gethsemane, no stained glass, no choir, just sweat, blood, shadows, and the hardest yes ever spoken. That moment wasn't public. No crowd to cheer, no miracle to prove. Only silence and surrender. And it makes you wonder, why there? Why not a stage? Why not a sanctuary? Maybe because Gethsemane isn't about performance. It's about what happens when no one's watching. It's where your will wrestles God's and loses beautifully. It's where obedience doesn't feel like triumph. It feels like breaking. But in that breaking, something eternal begins. So if you've ever found yourself in that garden, torn between control and surrender, between comfort and calling, you're not alone. Because the first "not my will" that saved the world was whispered in the dirt by someone who cried before he conquered. And maybe that's where your resurrection begins too. They say the story of redemption began in a garden, but what we often miss is that it also almost ended in one. 2 gardens, 2 men, 2 choices. In Eden, the first Adam said, "My will be done." In Gethsemane, the second Adam whispered, "Not my will, but yours." One choice fractured creation, the other restored it. In Eden, rebellion was clothed in desire. In Gethsemane, surrender was clothed in sweat and blood. And that contrast, it still echoes every time we face our own moment of decision. Every time our will pulls one way and God's whispers another. Because whether we see it or not, we are always standing in one garden or the other. But here's what they don't tell you in Sunday school. Obedience doesn't always feel victorious. Sometimes it feels like agony. We love the idea of surrender until it costs us something we wanted to keep, until the healing doesn't come, until the door doesn't open, until the plan doesn't unfold the way we prayed. We think submission starts with courage, but the truth is, it usually starts with a breakdown. Jesus didn't walk into Gethsemane glowing. He staggered. He collapsed. He trembled so violently that his sweat became blood. The weight of, "Yes, Father," broke him before the nails ever did. And if that's what obedience looked like for the Son of God, why do we expect it to look cleaner for us? So let me ask you, have you ever reached a point where the right thing felt like the hardest thing? Where everything in you screamed to run, but something deeper whispered, "Stay"? That's Gethsemane. It's not glamorous. It doesn't get applause. And nobody claps for you in that place. Because Gethsemane isn't for the crowds. It's for the called. It's not a stage. It's a battleground. A place where your comfort dies and your calling begins. And the scariest part? No one can do it for you. You can have people praying nearby, like Peter, James, and John. But at the end of the day, the wrestle is yours. Obedience is personal. There are no miracles in Gethsemane, no thunder, no voice from heaven, just a choice in the dark, just you and God and a garden full of questions. Will I trust him even when he's silent? Will I obey when there's no guarantee of the outcome? Will I still say yes, when yes might mean loss, pain, or waiting? Here's the twist most of us never expect. Sometimes, the strongest faith isn't walking on water. It's kneeling in the dirt and not walking away. We think faith looks like bold declarations. But sometimes, it sounds like whispered sobs between clenched teeth. Even if you don't, I'll still follow. You see, Eden was a garden of delight. But Gethsemane? It's a garden of decision. And decisions made in Gethsemane shape destinies, not just because of what they cost, but because of what they create. The cross wasn't where Jesus decided to obey. That decision happened before the whip, before the thorns, before the nails. It happened in a garden, on the ground, under the weight of not my will. So maybe your breakthrough won't begin in a revival tent, but in the quiet place where your will breaks. Maybe the most powerful thing you'll ever do is not raise your hands in worship, but keep them open when God doesn't place what you hoped for in them. Maybe your Gethsemane doesn't look like a grove of olive trees. Maybe it's a hospital waiting room, a silent car ride home, a decision you're still not ready to talk about. But make no mistake, it's sacred ground. And if you feel the weight, the ache, the wrestle between your will and His, you're not failing. You're standing exactly where Jesus once stood. And you're not alone in that garden. He's still there, still kneeling beside those who choose surrender, still whispering strength into the ones too tired to speak. So if you're in that place today, don't run. Stay. Let the wrestle happen. Let the tears fall. Because what God births in Gethsemane doesn't stay buried. It rises. It redeems. It resurrects. And maybe, just maybe, your greatest yes will be the one no one else ever sees, but heaven never forgets. Lord, I've said it before. Not my will, but yours. I've whispered it in worship, declared it in sermons, sang it with tears in my eyes. But today, it feels harder to say, not because I don't love you, but because I'm holding things I don't want to lose. Dreams I've nurtured, people I've trusted, outcomes I hoped you'd give me. And now, you're asking for my hands to open, but they've been closed for so long, clenched around what I thought you promised. And to let go now, to surrender again, feels like risking my heart twice. So, I'll be honest. I'm scared. Scared that if I let go, there won't be anything left. Scared that obedience will lead to pain, not peace. Scared that saying yes might feel like losing. Not just what I want, but who I am. But even in my fear, I remember the garden, not Eden, but Gethsemane. I remember you kneeling there, shoulders shaking, sweat turning to blood, the weight of the world pressing down before a single nail touched you. You didn't fake strength. You didn't pretend surrender was easy. You cried, you pleaded, and still, you obeyed. You didn't say yes because it felt good. You said yes because you trusted the Father. And maybe that's what you're teaching me. Obedience isn't about feelings. It's about faith. So here I am, Lord. No stage. No spotlight. Just dirt. Just decision. This is my garden. And I want to run. But I kneel. I tremble. But I stay. Because I'd rather wrestle with you here than walk away with a will that leads me nowhere. So now I shift. From fear to trust. From clenched fists to open hands. From hiding to honesty. Because I know what my will brings. It brings striving. It brings burnout. It brings shallow victories and deep regrets. But your will, it brings resurrection, even when it passes through the cross. So I say now, if you say wait, I'll wait. If you say walk, I'll walk. If you say nothing, I'll still trust. I lay down my timelines. I release my formulas. I stop bargaining. I'm not here to negotiate. I'm here to surrender. This isn't about feeling ready. It's about being real. And I am, right now, fully yours, So I declare, even if surrender feels like breaking, I will not run. Even if silence stretches longer than expected, I will not withdraw my yes. Even if obedience means I lose what I held dear, I believe you hold what I cannot see. Let this garden become holy ground. Let this trembling become trust. Let this moment of yes echo in heaven, long after I leave this room. Because you're not looking for perfect. You're looking for present. And I am here. I declare now, not my will, but yours. Not just in concept, in reality. Not just in the big decisions, but in the daily surrender. Not just when I understand, but especially when I don't. I will not demand to see the full picture before I obey the next step. I will not let fear silence my surrender. I will not confuse delay with denial. I choose Gethsemane, not because it feels safe, but because you are there. And where you are, there is purpose. There is peace. Even if it comes through pain. Lord, take my yes. It's not polished. It's not fearless. But it's real. And I give it freely. Use it to break what needs breaking. Heal what needs healing. Build what only surrender can build. And when I'm tempted to take it back, remind me of this moment, of this garden, of this ground, because I don't want to miss what you're doing, just because I was afraid of letting go. I trust you, Jesus, more than the outcome, more than the plan, more than myself. I trust the one who sweat blood and still said yes. So here's mine, even if it shakes, even if it costs, even if it breaks me first, before it blesses me. This is my worship. This is my altar. This is my Gethsemane. And you are still worthy of it all. Amen. If this prayer stirred something in you, mark this moment with one simple sentence. Not my will, but yours. And if you know someone standing between Eden and Gethsemane, someone torn between control and surrender, send this to them. Because maybe today, they need to decide who they'll follow, their own plans, or the one who knelt before the cross and chose obedience for them. And if you're still waiting for clarity, still aching in the dark, remember this. He's still in the garden, still waiting, still whispering your name.